So here we are, start November. It's actually quite a good time to start thinking about getting some nice early crops of onions for next year. There will be a little bit of a gap. I mean, you've got your summer crops from this year. They'll be up in storage now. You know, you're looking probably by the time of May, June, just running short of stuff like that. So you want to start thinking about getting some crops nice and early, particularly the onion family that, yes, they will keep in good dry storage conditions, but you know, there's nothing like a fresh onion out of the garden. And think about now really to get some sets in. The ground's still workable. The ground's most importantly still very warm. Ground temperatures are usually about 2 months behind air temperatures. So getting stuff into the ground now gives them a good start and lets them get some root down before the real onset of winter. Onions, a bit like your broad beans, is a good time autumn sowing. I'm going to use sets. I'm on a very dry, sunny border here, so that's why I'm quite happy getting away with some sets on the ground here. Good, well-manured ground. You may have seen me a few months ago preparing this ground for courgettes. We're doing some double digging on this site. It's a great crop if you've manured the previous season for your onions. Really, really good for that. They are kind of heavy feeders, but will appreciate manure from the previous season. Well rotted, good, fertile, but most importantly, well drained soil. Also, if you're going on to say cold and wet soil and you really want to sow a spring crop, lighten the soil up, get some good horticultural grit, sharp sand, mix that into the soil mixture, lighten it up, get some good free drainage. That's what onions will really appreciate. Now, very, very simple to plant, really. Your main kind of problem you're going to be is having nothing in the ground. The birds are going to come along and start pinching them out, particularly the crows, the jackdaws, they'll be around. So the most important thing, apart from your spacings and your lines and rows, is getting them in nice and firm. All the onions like firm ground. They hate being rocked around. So it's really, really straightforward. I'm going to start off with a row of white onions here. Literally, I'm going to put a spacing of about 8-9 inches to each set. Be about 1.5 feet between the rows. So really, really straightforward. Just pop him in, push him down into the soil, nice and firm. Push the soil around each set, just so you've got the little bit of tassel out the ground like that. Nice and firm with the back of the forefingers. In he goes. And just work your way along, as I say, about 8-9 inches between sets. Again, push him down, draw the soil up, firm around it. So I'm just going to work along the row here. I mean, what you can sow is really what you're going to eat. And think about what you're going to be cooking in midsummer next year. Got a nice mild white onion here, very, very good, particularly for saladings. You've got a red mild onion here. It's going to be more of the oval shaped onion. Again, another kind of mild, sweet tasting cooking onion. And you go more for the kind of main crops here, something like radar. You can just see these just spritting away now quite happily. I mean, what's going to happen is these are going to just start pushing up a little bit of foliage, and that's fine. There's nothing to worry about there. They're pretty frost hardy onions. Your main pest, of course, is going to be the birds coming along down the rows, picking away at the little tassel poking up out of the ground, more out of being inquisitive really than damaging. They may lift them up, so just keep an eye on them, make sure they're not popped out. If they are really going to be a pest, maybe squirrels as well, just pop a bit of netting over them. So I'm going to carry on here with a couple of rows of whites, a couple of rows of reds, and then get onto the garlic.